Hey everyone, Mr. MC here. This is a lap guide for the current lap time challenge taking place at Eiger Nordwand with the Subaru Impreza rally car, and we're under racing hard tires. And for the uninitiated, to find these online time trials, going over to sport mode, so make sure you have menu book number 9 completed, and you'll see the online time trials towards the middle of the screen. So this specific event is running for 2 weeks or 1.5 weeks at this point, ending at the end of August 7th, 2024, where your goal is to go within the 3% time range of the world record time when the event ends, as that is when your lap time gets counted. And I'll leave a link to the replay in the description down below that you can find in game. And before we get started with the lap guide, I do want to note that with the Subaru Impreza rally car, you need to shift pretty early. You're shifting before the shift bar on the bottom of the screen reaches 50% full. So for those that are using the bumper cams, as you can see the rev counter, you're shifting at around 6,250 RPM. But let's go on over to the lap guide, where as you're getting ready to start your new lap, you want to bring yourself towards the white barriers that are on top of the hill. So these white barriers right here, bring yourself as close as you can to them and exit on 4th gear. And we'll go through it again as we end the lap. Now bring yourself towards the left, and you do need to brake really early for this first turn. So you're braking before the track marshals on the left. Full braking power, and you're going to eventually make your way down to 1st gear. You're going to turn in before the curb on the left ends. So just as you start to turn in, start to ease off of the brakes, so doing a bit of trail braking. Go down to 1st gear for more rotation, exit on 2nd gear, use a little bit of your throttle input to try to get the car to rotate around a little quicker. And just as you complete the first hairpin, you want to brake and turn right away for the 2nd hairpin. Going down to 1st gear for more rotation, but exit on 3rd gear, and be really careful with your throttle input to keep the car under control. Then brake right as you approach the track marshal on the left. So use your full braking power for a short moment and turn in almost immediately after. Go down to 2nd gear for a bit more rotation, but exit on 3rd gear. Stay as close as you can to the right, because just after this turn completes, so basically just as this cliff on the right starts, you're going to brake, go down to 2nd gear, and turn in. And then exit on 3rd gear, and you want to try to nail down the apex and try to straight line it through here, as that'll give you a good exit. Then bring yourself towards the left, use the track marshals on the left as your next braking point, and you're going to turn in almost immediately after. You're going to make your way down to 4th gear, and do note for this turn you will need to do a bit of sliding around, so you're going to slide all the way towards the left side of the track. That way you can set yourself up for a late apex out of this turn. So you can see right here, just before the parking lot on the right, that's where I'm starting to get back on full throttle power, trying to go for a late apex. Now this turn is pretty tough. Just before you reach the dip, you're going to use around 75% power for a brief moment, and right as you reach that dip, that's where you turn in and go down to 5th gear. So this will force the car to rotate around a turn, and you do need to time this right, because if you time it too early, you will hit the barrier on the right. And you want to be really careful getting back on the throttle, because it's really easy to understeer onto the walls and get your lap time invalidated. Now for the final turn, you're going to brake before the building on the left ends, or before you reach the apex that is on the left. Brake in a straight line and gradually make your way down to 3rd gear. You're going to use this crosswalk as your turning point, and you're going to aim for those white barriers on the other side of the track. So easing off of the brakes as you're turning in, so doing a bit of trail braking. And just as you reach this barrier on the left, go up to 4th gear, and you want to slowly ease on the throttle. That way you can try to straight line it out of the final turn and cross the start finish line. So we'll go through this again, but this time I will not stop the video. Alright, so here we are getting ready to start the new lap. So as I mentioned earlier, you want to bring yourself towards the white barriers So these white barriers right here, go up to 4th gear and be really careful getting back on the throttle. That way you can get a better exit and get a faster start to your new lap. Brake before the track marshals on the left, as you are going downhill, so you do need to brake a bit earlier. Keep it really tight with these hairpins and exit on 3rd gear. Be really careful getting back on the throttle. And there's actually a couple turns where you can use the track marshals as your braking point. And just like with the previous hairpins, go down to 2nd gear for more rotation, but exit on 3rd gear. And again, track marshals on the left are your braking and turning point. You will be sliding through this turn, so it is pretty fun to go through this turn. Just trying to go for a late apex, so there is a bit of sliding around that you will need to do as you go through that turn. Really difficult turn, this one. Brake just before the dip, and then right as you reach a dip, turn in and then shift down. That way you can force the car to turn in a bit better. Brake before the building on the left ends. Go up to the white barrier, up to 4th gear. Really careful getting back on the throttle and finish your lap. Alright, so we'll go through this one more time, but this time we'll be in bumper cam. So you want to bring yourself towards the white barriers on the other side of the track. That way you can set yourself up for a fast exit. Exit on 4th gear, nice and careful getting back on the throttle. And don't forget, you will need to shift before the shift bar is halfway full. Brake before the track marshals on the left. As you are going downhill, you do need to brake a bit earlier. Keep it really tight with these hairpins. Exiting on 3rd gear, and just be really careful getting back on the throttle. And again, just trying to keep it really tight to the hairpins, using a little bit of the throttle input to have the car whip around the turns a little better. Exit on 3rd gear, and then use the track marshals on the left as your next braking and turning point. You will be sliding around through this turn, pretty fun to do, as you want to try to get a late apex out of the long right turn. Then just before the dip, start to brake. Right as you reach the dip, turn in and go down to 5th gear. That way the car can nicely rotate around the stone wall. Then brake before the building on the left. Go up to the barrier. Exit on 4th gear. Nice and careful back on the throttle. And finish your lap. And with this, getting a 103.6, this lap time challenge is harder than I thought. I thought it was going to be a bit straightforward. But yeah, this one was a bit harder than I expected. I don't know if it has to do with the physics or it being a really new track to me. I don't know. But either way, pretty difficult, and hopefully this lap guide helps you out. So this is Mr. MCA, and I'll see you in the next video.